12:05 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday. That means it's Joe Steckler Day, helping seniors of Brevard. And here's the host of today's show, Joe Steckler.
Thank you, John, and welcome to this Wednesday edition of Helping Seniors of Brevard. The purpose of helping seniors is to inform, educate, and tell people about programs, resources that are available in Brevard County to help those that are older and who are getting into the age where they need assistance of some kind. It's about care, it's about finances, it's about living, it's about work, it's about all kinds of things. And to sort of set the stage for today's show, I keep thinking about the commercial I see on television all the time with Tom Selleck in there. And Tom Selleck is talking about reverse mortgages. And reverse mortgages always make me think about senior citizens that need assistance of some kind. And Selleck makes a pretty good case of why we need those resources, but he doesn't tell you about all the things that can go wrong. He doesn't tell you about all the things that you need to know. He doesn't tell you about what could happen if you don't get good advice. On the other hand, reverse mortgages affect many senior citizens, and these are primarily the people that take out reverse mortgages for a number of reasons, and I'll let one of my hosts this morning talk about that. But at the same time, while we're talking about reverse mortgages and talking about older people, we have a program that's been around in this country for years called AARP. AARP, it was about a month ago, I had a reason to call about tax information. I contacted AARP, and they sent me a list of about 20 to 25 different things and phone numbers for programs that AARP manages in Brevard County. My point is that there are things that, while I've been associated with this work for 30 years, we could all learn, because I learn almost every week about something new, somewhere, some way, somehow to help somebody. So, without further ado, I'll ask Barbara McIntyre, who is with our reverse mortgage specialist, to introduce herself and tell you just a little bit about her, and then I'll get Lois Thomas and Erica Kerlow to talk about did I pronounce that name right? Yeah. Did a lot of people mispronounce it?
They do.
Oh, okay. That should be pretty easy. Like the Wizard of Oz. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
I'm always thrilled to be a part of this radio broadcast because, like you, I totally believe knowledge is power. And so to be able to have the opportunity to make people be aware that I'm here to help answer those questions about reverse mortgages is a huge opportunity. And to be able to help people as they're approaching or moving into their retirement years decide if the use of their housing wealth has a place in their long-term retirement plan.
Yeah. And let's shift over to Lois to let her talk about her AARP program she's here today about. Think about the case that you and I have been working on for the last week and a half, and when we come back, how about give our listening audience an overview of what was involved in that case and whether you could or could not help him, because I don't know the answer to that yet, okay?
Sure. We're talking about the family that had a tax issue? Is that what we're referring?
Well, you could talk about the tax issue and the Elmore program, but it was another one when I asked you about.
Right.
To him to
see. I wasn't able to actually help him. Unfortunately, the amount. We get into some real specific details with the fact that when someone does have a mortgage and they need to retire that mortgage and the obligation for a payment, they have to be able to tap into enough equity to be able to make that happen. So at this time, I wasn't actually able to help him, but I was able to answer all his questions.
Okay, but think about how the conversation that you had with him did help get him possibly.
Without a doubt. It answered his questions, and then nice to know that what we're about to talk about with the guests that are here representing AARP is that the opportunity to find out other ways that he might be able to help himself improve his income and be able to live more comfortably.
Well, you sort of hit a key word with income, and I think Lois and Erica are about. So, Lois, you and Erica, go ahead and introduce yourselves to your program, because so many people just see the initials AARP. They don't really know what AARP, what it really does, and some of the intricate programs you have to help people that are older. So go ahead.
Joe, thank you so much for inviting me here today. It's definitely a pleasure to be here to talk more about our Back to Work program. My name is Lois Thomas, and I'm a customer solutions facilitator for the AARP Back to Work program at CareerSource Brevard, and I'm responsible for coordinating training and professional development services to assist job seekers at all 3 of our CareerSource Brevard locations. And we do have locations in Palm Bay, Rockledge, and also Titusville. And it's my passion to really engage job seekers with training, support, and also resources that they need to be successful in their effort to re-enter the workforce. All
but
right?
is the ultimate end result, Lois, one that you want to provide or give seniors a way that they can help get themselves back into the workforce? Because so many seniors call me, and they're worried about their money running out, but they don't think that, when you're 70, 75, you might still need to work a little bit. And I feel I can really talk about that, because I happen to be 85, and I'm still working, it's not easy at times. I couldn't take a job where I had to stand up all the time. I'd have to take a job where I was sitting down. That might mean, would I answer a telephone? Could I do some other things like that? And possibly that's some of the things that you and Erica might be talking about. Erica, come on, what are you?
So thank you, Joe, for having us.
She's around the corner from me, folks. I can't see her. Okay, now I can see her.
Hello, Joe. My name is Erica Kerlow, and I'm a career counselor with CareerSource Brevard. Once the customer is finished with Lois with the 7 SMART strategy and the core workshop, then I get to work with them one-on-one in providing career guidance and career counseling. So I help them with things like resumes, job search, interviewing, and anything basically that they would need to help them to get back to work. So even if someone is 85, I look at their skills, their abilities, and apply that to match them to a job that would actually fit their need.
When you and I first talked, Lois, and I'm sure Erica knows part of the answer to this too, we talked about the 7 strategies that you have to help people get back into the workforce. How is AARP? What do you mean by that?
Okay. Well, first, let me go back and talk a little bit about our Back to Work program.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, the Back to Work program started in our community to provide older adults with the skills they need to compete with confidence for today's in-demand jobs. And really, Joe, our effort is to create a supportive environment where participants can regain their confidence and also learn and apply strategies to today's job search. And that would even include upgrading their computer skills and also connecting them to employers and also training opportunities as well. All right. And because we do know that older workers, they bring exceptional experience and employability skills that employers need. So by helping them to build their confidence and also strengthen their abilities to articulate their own value to employers, we in turn connect job seekers to jobs. So with our 7 SMART strategies, we have workshops coming up next week at all 3 of our CareerSource Brevard locations. And the 7 SMART strategies go into detail of 7 different subject areas, which would include targeting your job search, creating personal marketing tools to impress employers, and that could be the resume, the cover letter, and also LinkedIn accounts if the individual has one, and also conquering the job application and interview process, which is strategy number 3. Strategy number 4, get new work experience and skills. And also strategy number 5, meet people who know people. And that in a nutshell is networking. Also connecting with organizations that find jobs for candidates and employers, just as with our organization, Career Source Brevard. All of our 7 SMART strategies are held at the Career Source Brevard locations, which I feel is especially ideal because Career Source Brevard provides so many services in this community. We provide services to connect our job seekers and also to help them get back to work, whatever that work is. And also strategy number 5 is taking time to focus on yourself and also staying strong.
You know, when I get calls from mostly it's older men, and I have it from some of the older women that you know, they're reluctant to say too much about their writing skills or whether they could promote themselves into the job market. So, Erica, I sort of sense that your ability with helping put together resumes, getting the people to, I would assume that you sit down and talk to them, and in the course of talking to the people, you find out what some of the skills are that they have. They might not even realize they have themselves that you can put into that resume.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So during the core sessions, because even after the 7 SMART strategy, we'll have a week-long core session, and we will do resume writing. Some individuals may not have a resume, and we have to start from scratch. Some who already have resume, we work in developing those resumes. We have a really useful tool in our Employer Florida website where everyone is required to have an account to help them build a resume. And even after that, I'm working with them one-on-one on building a resume, crafting a targeted resume so that they can better search for a job and market themselves to the employer.
But, you know, we could write the best resume in the world, and we could have the most qualified candidate in the world, but I'm also certain that it's my experience that as we grow older, so many things affect our capability to work that we have to find a way to get older people into the job market and into jobs that they can manage. And are you saying, Lois, that the AARP program, while it helps write resumes and tries to help people develop strategies to get back into the job market, are you also in the business of identifying jobs that these people could go to?
Absolutely. At Career Source Brevard, we have a business services team that work directly with the business liaisons and also with the recruiters. So there are opportunities out there, and our role is really to try to connect the job seekers or the job candidates with those employment opportunities. And our business services team does an excellent job making that match.
Then I think that I'm embarrassed because I've had, over the years, I frankly did not know that much about what we're talking about today. And I can think of a case where I had a woman that was 71. She was down here living, and she just insisted on living in a $1,500 a month apartment when her income was $1,100. And she was able to do that because at the time she had a job, and I think the job had something to do with being a real estate broker. But due to a number of things, things started to come apart for her, and I worked with her for over a period of about 4 months, and it was frustrating because while she could not she said she could not find a job. Had I known about you all, I would have referred that lady to you all. In fact, now that I know about you, I'm going to check back with this lady to find out whether she ever did, because I said she had a lot of skills, but she didn't know where to go for help. She let other things in her life affect her so much, and once we get older, when we have no resources which we can fall back on, then our life can unravel more quickly. And once it starts to unravel, it's hard to stop the unravel. And it is like pulling a string in a sweater. If you get it in the right place, you can start pulling that thing, and it's unraveled.
I have a good friend who is 62 years old. He always, his life career was always in high-end men's clothing. He was very expert at selling and tailoring clothes for executive-type men, and that industry really, after the downturn in the economy and then particularly this area, just didn't have as quite a demand. And so some of those clothing stores started to close up. Well, this man, 62 years old, he really didn't need computer skills, so he didn't really have them. And he just didn't possess the skills to let him continue working into his, into his mid to late 60s or early 70s. And so he has taken full advantage of these programs and has really positioned himself in a much better way. So
he's taken advantage of the programs.
Yes, he has.
That Lois is
absolutely. He goes to Career Source often. His resume writing skills. They keep him abreast of opportunities. So even though he is in a different position and successfully making headway there, he still stays in touch for further opportunities.
How come you never told me about any of this?
I'm so sorry. My bad. The age group that they talk about in most of their advertising is 50 plus. So it's a from 50 on. And I just, I'm thinking now, I don't believe 85-year-olds should be needing to go and improve skills so they can work. That shouldn't have to happen.
Why not?
Because it just shouldn't. But I do think,
you're picking on me.
I do think that there are many people in their 70s that not only could benefit from the income, but oftentimes they can benefit from the socialization that they can acquire by getting a job that takes them outside of their retired, closed network. And so I see it as a huge resource for lots of people in Brevard County, and I'm thrilled to know more about it myself.
Lois and Erica have a question. For years, and when I was the director of the Alzheimer's program, I had a couple of ladies from AARP, and I'm not sure what the program was, but they worked for a stipend, and you all, AARP, paid the stipend, and these ladies answered the phone, and I used them in the morning. They called Alzheimer's families that might have problems, and we called our people that lived alone, and these two ladies formed a network where they helped people stay connected to the outside world. And it was a tremendous asset. It didn't cost us anything, and AARP paid these people, it was $5 an hour, and it was 4 hours a day, a 4-hour shift, and it was intended to give them experience, I think, and working at a receptionist type job or something like that. But some of them stayed for a couple of years and worked for us that long, and AARP was glad to do it. Are you familiar with that program?
Yes, we have a CSEP program also at our Career Source Brevard location. Now, that program is for individuals 55 and over, whereas the Back to Work program is 50 plus. Our CSEP program is 55 plus. And yes, you're absolutely correct. The purpose of the program is to provide placement assistance and place individuals directly into employment opportunities so that they're able to get the skills and the training that they need to be successful.
Okay. How does AARP get their money? Where do you get your money from? Lois is looking at Erica to answer that question.
Well, I'm going to have to defer to Lois because Lois facilitates the program, and she's really aware of the different types of programs that's within the AARP Foundation. I do work with them after they have gone through Lois, so she's on the management side of it, so she could give you a little more information about that.
Okay, let's stay away from Lois and Barbara just a second. Let's talk about Erica.
Okay.
You work with people with their resumes. Now, what else in a supporting role provided by AARP here in Brevard County, Florida? What do you do, Erica, besides help people with their resumes?
Well, I provide career guidance, so I'm sitting down one-on-one with customers. I'm finding out what they're interested in doing. I'm looking at their skill level. They may even have other issues in their life that they have to deal with, and I'm there to provide some guidance. They may need some support services to help them to get back to work. A gentleman may need a haircut or may need clothing to go to a job interview, and we assist them with that.
You mean if somebody's going to go for a job interview, you help get them dressed correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
Where do you get the clothing from to do that?
Well, AARP provides some financial assistance in that area so they can go out and purchase the clothing that they need. Or if someone needs to go to the hairdresser, get their hair dyed so they can look more appropriate and presentable, we will provide some financial assistance for that.
You know, I wish, Lois, that you would have called me years ago instead of waiting until now, because, this is exactly fits the description of why I keep saying that it's so important we have a program like Helping Seniors, because our job is to get people to be informed about what is available in our community.
Exactly.
And that's so important.
You're exactly right. And you mentioned the funding, and the funding does come from the AARP Foundation. But what Erica was mentioning, which I think is absolutely, very well, that we were able to get a grant through Wells Fargo to assist with supportive services such as transportation, clothing, first impressions such as hair, makeup and things of that nature, and also dental or vision assistance, because we want individuals going for a job to be confident and ready to best present themselves in front of the employers.
Okay. We're just, how much time we got for a break? 1 minute. We got John asked a question, and I'll put the question out, and I want you to think about it during the break.
Okay.
And that means you have to be responsible for answering when we come back on the air. How do these people get the job interviews? How do you get job interviews for prospective clients? How do you do that? What kind of resources does AARP have in the local area, and where would you go that, years ago, you'd see stuff listed in Florida Today, but they don't have classified. Of course, they don't even hardly have a paper anymore, but that's another story. But our sources of information are rapidly declining. So when we have wonderful programs such as we're talking about this morning, and I want to get into the reverse mortgage business a little bit, because that's so important for seniors, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, I want you to tell people how AARP goes about getting job interviews for people, how you help connect them to do that, okay?
12:33 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. Now back to more of Joe Steckler and Helping Seniors of Brevard on this Wednesday afternoon.
This is Joe Steckler, folks. We're back live, and let me say before you say another word, if I ever tried to jitterbug with that music, I know exactly where I'd end up, right on my can on the floor. I used to love the jitterbug, but right now I'm lucky to walk. But that's all part of aging process, folks. And however you take the aging process, it's up to you. You can You can hide behind getting older, or you can just make up your mind you're going to do something and continue to do what you can as long as you can do it. And that's what I made up my mind to do. But since I have never run a cognitive mapping test on Lois to check her memory, I'll let her answer that question we asked about how do you get job interviews lined up for people. How does AARP go about doing that? What do? You have a backlog? I mean, you keep a list of people that are looking for people, or what? How do you do that?
Okay, so before we get into that question, I just want to make sure that you understand between the two different AARP programs that we have. We have the AARP Back to Work program, which is our 50-plus job candidates, right, which is what I work directly with. And then we also have our CSET program, which is 55-plus, and they assist with work experiences and on-the-job training opportunities as well. So your question was, how do we get job interviews for job candidates, which the Back to Work program, our primary focus is really to equip them again with the information and the resources and the tools that they need to get those job interviews. So we'll help them with their resumes. We'll help them with the interview skills that they need. And especially with this population, I've run across quite a few who've never even had a resume before, and even job searching skills, because you mentioned earlier, going in and looking at newspapers for want ads for available openings, whereas now so much has changed.
Oh, I know.
So much has changed. I remember when you can walk into a job and dress yourself professionally and bring your resume and walk out of there with the job. Whereas now you have to go online, of course, apply to jobs. So much has changed just in the job search process in itself. So what we strive to do is to really educate our job seekers and what they need to do to really prepare themselves for those available opportunities, and so that they are able to be placed within the position. So whether that can include training, we do have on-the-job training opportunities through CareerSource Brevard, and also work experience programs as well. So I work pretty closely, and also Erica, with our business services team to connect our job seekers with available employment opportunities.
Lois, one of the hardest things for an older person to do is try to find out what is available in the job market, and it's just extremely difficult. It's not, but I sort of sense that the programs that you and Erica are working on do find out about jobs that are available, and since people know more, as more people know what you do, then there'll be more people seeking you out to say, hey, I do have some of these openings available. When I had come in the Navy retirement home, when my last job in the Navy, I had a lady that was 96 years old, worked 8 hours a day as a secretary in our social services department, and she worked for $35 a week. That was a month, and that was we had a little pay program, a stipend type thing, and we used our residents to do almost everything in the food checkers in the food line, the counters. They worked in different jobs. I had a couple of guys that put a backpack on their backs every morning and blew the street off from the front of the naval home out to Highway 10. It went through Gulfport, Mississippi, and they just did little things like that. But the lady and when I asked her one time if she wanted just to reduce her work hours, I thought he was going to hit me. I decided I'd get out of there real quick because I insulted the woman. She wanted to work. She felt she was capable of doing it, and she did it. And she did a great job. So there are a lot of people out there that are older that can do things in the community, but at the same time we have a reduction in availability of jobs because so much has been taken over by a machine that we still don't have all these jobs. And that goes back to where we're talking about aging, underwriting this whole thing. Barbara, I asked you earlier when we came on the air about the man that well, you couldn't help him directly. You indicated you tried to help him get going in the right direction. What did you mean by that?
Well, with this product, with the product that I specialize in, there's always a sense for me that it's not really a matter of if the product will assist someone. It's just a matter of when it will. So what I mean by that is the benefit of what someone can obtain based on their current home equity and the rules that we have to abide with about the product are changing all the time. Every October, the budget's looked at by Congress. When the insurance fund gets very healthy, which it is becoming more stable, no taxpayers have to help put money into the mortgage insurance fund with FHA, periodically, then decisions will be made to free up a larger percentage of someone's home equity. So when I speak to, for example, the gentleman you referred to me, right now it didn't work for him, but in a year it just might. He'll be a year older. His house will have appreciated another year, and FHA may free up more access to his own equity.
Well, Barbara, a lot of people think that, gee, I own a home, and if I want, and they hear the word mentioned by somebody, reverse mortgage, everybody thinks that they can get a reverse mortgage on their home. How about explaining, just to give our listening audience just a sort of broad overview of who can or who can't get a reverse mortgage? They're just a very simple guidelines that you and I have talked about.
Sure. Now there's products that you can actually look into at age 60, but usually you have to be 62 years old. You do have to have enough equity in your home that it will give you enough to either pay off an existing mortgage or will satisfy or meet the need you have. You do have to have a history of being responsible for paying your property taxes and homeowners insurance. That won't prevent you from obtaining a reverse mortgage, but it will potentially require the lender to pay taxes and insurance going forward. In other words, escrow for you, which can sometimes be a benefit.
Well,
so
are these rules, are they the same for the entire country, or do they vary by different parts of the country? The reason I'm asking this is because I had a recent case where somebody told me that they had roughly an $800,000 reverse mortgage on a home in California. Is that possible?
It is possible. Homes in California are valued much, much higher. It also would have depended on when they obtained the reverse mortgage, because years ago, if it was, many years ago, the amount someone could draw was higher. And if they've had it a long time and chose to never make a payment, they could ultimately have an $800,000 balance on a $1 million home. It's certainly not typical for this area. Our medium home values are probably, I would say, in the $300,000 range, maybe $250,000, though someone living in a manufactured home worth $100,000, if they own the land, can also look at obtaining a reverse mortgage. So it doesn't limit a borrower on the lower side of values. And now we have proprietary reverse mortgages, or I could say conventional reverse mortgages, not FHA, that will loan on homes up to $7 million. So what's happening in the industry is, as more and more retirees, 60, 62 and older, are moving into retirement, they're wanting to put their housing wealth or the equity in their home into a retirement plan. And so the product is always changing to make it more beneficial for borrowers of all circumstances.
Here we got two different types of programs that can assist aging people: AARP and a reverse mortgage. I understand AARP probably runs according to the same rules no matter where you are. You have a set way to operate. On the other hand, Barbara, you're saying that it's just like sending somebody to an elder law attorney or to get a trust done or help somebody get eligible for living in an assisted living facility. There are so many ways to make the system work for you. You have to go to a company, a person that will lay the facts out honestly
Right.
and fairly. And the times I've worked with you and the phone calls that I've gotten over the years indicate to me that the people that have gotten in trouble with reverse mortgages are the ones that didn't go to somebody that really understood what they're doing. And having said that, we both learned a lesson recently when we found out, and Lois, you and Erica might really need to know what Barbara and I are going to talk just for a second. I asked Barbara about a program called Project Elmore, and Barbara said she had heard about it, and she started doing some work and educating herself again on this thing, and it was pretty fantastic and could mean a lot to people that are older, and this is something that could probably impact some of the people that you work with, because people get themselves in trouble, and all of a sudden they're going to lose their house. They get a reverse mortgage. They let their insurance lapse because they can't afford to pay it. And one of the things that will rapidly get you in trouble with a reverse mortgage is if you fail to pay your insurance or your taxes.
Correct.
How about telling our listeners again, because people listen to this radio show, and
Right.
more and more people are listening because they're finding out that we're providing information that affects people.
What Joe and I discovered is that the Elmore program that's available in all 27 counties in Florida is there to assist specifically someone who has a reverse mortgage that has fallen delinquent in property-related charges like taxes or insurance, and the lender has stepped in to pay those charges for them. Now, lenders do that because they need to make sure the property is going to remain, because that's the only way the lender is repaid in the future. But the delinquency starts the process of foreclosure. So with Project Elmore, these particular homeowners, once the lender is paying the taxes and insurance for them, they can go to Elmore and call an 800 number and file an application. If they meet the criteria, which is basically that there was a life-changing event that occurred that caused them to not be able to pay taxes and insurance, they will go ahead and approve them. Then Elmore will give the money. They will pay back the lender for the borrower, and they will even go as far as to loan up to $50,000 for future taxes and insurance, and they don't require repayment. And so it is a really huge benefit specific for people in reverse mortgages that have fallen behind. Now, Joe wrote an article recently in, I believe, the Hometown News, right, and he referenced me in the article, and I haven't had a chance to tell him, but I had 3 different calls from people who have reverse mortgages, were concerned about life-changing events that might cause them to have difficulty in the future. And so I mailed them the Elmore information just so they know that there is something they could fall back on if that should happen. So again, knowledge is power, and the resources that are out there to help people, that's what we do, helping seniors.
And Barbara says 3 people call. You don't, until you get into the business that I've been involved in, and Barbara's picked up more of it since she's been one of our sponsors, that so many people as they get older, they just don't seem to know where to go, or they don't have the incentive to try to dig and find out how they can be helped or how they can help themselves. And I think our government has recognized that, and we criticize our government for so many programs, but where would our country be had not Lyndon Johnson got the Social Services Act of 1965 passed, which established Medicare and which did all the stuff that we need today? We a lot of people would be in a hurt locker.
Oh,
and
boy, that's true.
This is a concern I have, and one of the reasons I like to talk about AARP, I like to talk about reverse mortgages, I like to talk about things that can help people, because it's important for the people your age, Lois, more than it is people my age, to understand that it's up to the individual to prepare for the ability or their own capability to live and age and with a little dignity.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. And, Barbara, even the program that you mentioned, it's good for even myself to have that information too, because that is definitely something that we can also share with our participants as well, because life happens.
That's right.
We have people that have been on the job for 25, 30 plus years, and they thought, you know what, this is the job that I'm going to retire in. But again, for whatever reason, whether it be layoffs or just the economy changing, they found themselves laid off from that position. So having these services available to really assist our job seekers, I believe, is essential. But you mentioned also, too, many people are not aware of the services that are provided in our community. So, even at Career Source Brevard, we have so many people walking in that think we're just the unemployment office. And there's so much more that happens at Career Source Brevard. So even getting the information out there, and for you to even offering this forum to us, so we're able to spread this information with our listening audience so they know the services that are offered not only through the AARP Back to Work program, but also Career Source Brevard as well.
There's a couple of questions, though, that I think we need to. I'm going to look at it. These are some of the things that you said to me, and I think it's important for our listeners to know. And this is a Christian network, and I can assure you that our program is starting to grow, because I spoke to a group of about 45 ladies and one man at a garden club last week, and I've had several phone calls from the ladies about being a volunteer, about how can I make a contribution to the elder endowment, which I've said we really need to start here in Brevard County. We cannot depend on the government to take care of us. We cannot depend on somebody else to take care of us. We need to be willing to contribute to a system that will help us. The problem is finding some organization that will honestly and effectively manage those dollars so they will be available to help people that need help. I'm not saying subsist somebody in the future. I'm saying give them a helping hand when they need it. Now, when we talk about your program, is there a cost associated with what you're talking about, Lois?
There's no cost associated with the AARP Back to Work program or any of the services offered at Career Source Brevard. All the services are free of cost.
Okay, you keep mentioning Career Source Brevard. We talk about AARP. Do you work for Career Source or do you work for AARP?
Okay. Well, the AARP Back to Work program is actually hosted at our Career Source Brevard locations. So, yes, I am employed through the Career Source Brevard, and also I work specifically with the AARP 50 Plus Back to Work program.
Same with you, Erica?
Same with me. I work for Career Source Brevard, but AARP provide that grant to assist 50-plus workers.
What else does Career Source Brevard do? And I don't want an hour-long answer. I want a quick answer.
Well, Career Source Brevard offer a variety of services, including to start with resume writing, job search assistance. We offer veteran employment services. We also provide credit counseling, community service information and referrals, child care resources, training. So if an individual needs some training to update their skills, say for instance our 50-plus crowd, if they need some training to update skills, we provide that as well.
You know, I always forget the phone number to give the people the phone number here, which is 722-299 or 9998, 722-9998. I'm not going to make the same mistake with you all. Mm-hmm. If somebody wants to contact you all, and if they want to find out about Career Source Brevard, if they want to find out about a AARP Back to Work program for the 50-plus or 55-plus, what's the best number to call, Lois?
Well, they can call the Career Source Brevard direct line. That is 321-504-7600. And that's the direct number for Career Source Brevard, all of our locations. Now, specifically for the 7 Smart Strategies workshop that we have coming up next week, they can call 855-850-2525 to register for that free introductory workshop.
So, but they can, and you get a couple, let's give one number. If somebody really wants to find out everything, what's the one best number to call? So, Career Source?
Yes, they can call directly to Career Source Brevard. So again, that number is 321-504-7600, and we can tell them all about the different programs that are offered at all 3 of our centers.
Are you putting that in your cell phone, John?
Yeah, I would also...
John Harper has run the board here. I see him when he's got his cell phone thing on. I see him, he's putting that number in his...
Way to go, John.
Yeah,
way to go.
That's wonderful.
That's the whole purpose of this show.
Exactly.
Information and education. And
Can I add real quickly that Career Source Brevard also offer a variety of workshops for people to come in if they want to do interviewing prep. And we work with all job seekers, but Lois and I particularly work with the 50-plus program. So, and also recruiting events are held there all the time. We also have job fairs that go on regular. We do have a website, careersourcebrevard.com, which have our calendar and a variety of information that people can tap into.
But you know, Erica, so many times I find that somebody is looking, especially an older person, when they're looking for a job, they really want to speak to somebody sort of in private where they can understand what their problems are, what their needs are. And I've come across quite a few number recently and I always tell them, you know, Walmart's always hiring, they're always hiring greeters and everything like that. And, you know, if somebody that's making $1,100 or $1,200 a month to live on, if they earn another $400 or $500 or $600 a month, that's a lot of money for them. It's just like I had a lady that called me 3 weeks ago, and one word led to another. I referred her to the VA Aid and Attendance Program. And we got 1 minute, folks, so I'll quickly tell the story. And she was earning $1,116 a month. By the time AARP, the Aid and Attendance people had gotten through with her out at the VA government offices, they recommended it to the National VA headquarters an additional $1,235 for the lady to live on a month.
That's amazing.
And, yeah, it is. What it means is that more and more people are finding out about aid and attendance, and with 75,000 veterans, we also have a lot of women that were married to World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veterans that are eligible for this stipend, and that's important.
We have veteran programs as well at Career Source Brevard.
Oh, okay.
Good to know, right?
Yeah, we're just about out of time. How much time have I got, John? I got 1 minute. Okay, Lois,
Okay, well, quickly before we finish, I just want to remind our listening viewers about our upcoming 7 Smart Strategies workshop that we have coming up next week at all 3 of our Career Source Brevard locations. We have it on the 24th and the 25th at our Titusville, Palm Bay, and Rockledge location. We look forward to having you there.
And how do they call? Give me that number.
They can call directly at 321-504-7600.
Okay, all right. Barbara, you have a last comment?
And if you have any questions, anything, reverse mortgages, call 321-259-7880, and I'll answer them all.
That's important, folks. This is information that you need to know so that you can tell others about it. Thank you, Lois. Thank you,
Erica,
and thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.